The war in Ukraine on September 7th focused on a remarkable phenomenon, the unusual silence on the front north of the city of Pokrovsk. You might think silence is normal, but in the context of war, it is like sleeping in the middle of an earthquake. Strange, suspicious, and dangerous. Today, the History&War channel reveals the whole story like a serious history reporter who shoots commas in the right places so you can make SEO standard videos that are really good and attractive. Causes and strategic context. According to Dan Tree, the battles north of Pokrovsk are raging with active attack forces from Moscow, but the media from both sides are completely silent. This silence is rare in modern warfare, where every information card is displayed to the maximum to create psychological pressure. On the Russian side, keeping silent can be a classic tactic, not revealing the progress of the attack, keeping the element of surprise, making the opponent unable to react in time or prepare for defense. This is not without precedent in war, unless you're used to live stream updates. On the Ukrainian side, this is even more strange because Kyiv has previously loved to use the media to brag about every victory, no matter how small it is, just enough to blind UAVs. The sudden absence of any mobilization statements or suspicious announcements may be a sign of a very serious challenge on the northern Pokrovsk front. Actual developments and illustrations of the defense map. Military context. According to a report from Ukrainska Pravda, on September 7th, there were 129 battles, of which 36 were attacks in Pokrovsk alone. This shows that the stage of the war is still very intense, not because of lack of ammunition, but because it is not convenient to say it. The Russian army applied the 1,000 cuts tactic, attacking many small but continuous points to exhaust the Ukrainian forces, forcing Kyiv to spread its defense thin. This is an effective slow-killing tactic, especially when the enemy has no more reserves. According to AMK mapping, the situation in Pokrovsk, Prosyana is very complicated. Moscow has controlled many brown areas, newly captured areas are yellow, and is advancing with red arrows towards Kyiv's logistics centers. The Yamaton map is an example of a defense map. Brown is the position controlled by Moscow, yellow is the newly captured areas. Red arrows from the north enter Pokrovsk, heading towards the surrounding Ukrainian logistics centers. The yellow circle marks important towns such as Pokrovsk, Huliopole, Velikomahyilivka. Targeting these points can cut off supply lines or encircle the enemy. The orange/green overlap is Ukraine's thin defense zone, showing that the defense burden is spread across the front line. The accompanying caption states, Moscow's multi-pronged attacks are designed to force Kyiv to react uncontrollably. If not corrected, the collapse of the defense line is just tomorrow. And for a bit of humor, you could draw a huddled Ukrainian soldier holding a magnifying glass to a map, looking at the silence and thinking, what's going on? A humorous thumbnail to ease the tension of the video. Interim results and strategic impact. Preliminary results. Many Russian attacks have been stopped, but Ukraine's silence may reflect depleted resources, or a situation where information control to avoid revealing a failed counterattack plan. If Ukrainian forces are indeed stretched thin and in a disarray, not announcing it is a way to maintain morale, to avoid collapsing internal communications and maintaining the so-called fighting confidence. Strategic significance. Silence is a psychological weapon, making the opponent not know how to react while keeping internal morale from being crushed. Media reaction. Ukraine is famous for its frontline press every time it sneaks bullets. This time the lack of reporting may be a sign of deliberately diverting public opinion to the situation on other fronts, such as Dobropolye or Kupiansk recently. Tactical attack. In contrast to the usual noise, now is the time for silence. This further confuses the opponent, whether Ukraine is weak or is leaving a way out. Summary and call to action. Summary of main content. The unusual silence on the northern front of Pokrovsk on September 7th is actually a profound sign, not of peace, but of the silence before the storm. Russia has adopted a strategy of 1,000 cuts, attacking many small but continuous points, aiming to exhaust the Ukrainian defense forces. Ukraine has not made any declaration of victory or defeat, creating mystery and confusion both internally and externally. Strategic sign: silence is a psychological weapon, making the opponent not know how to react while keeping internal morale from being crushed. If you've read this far and are still sober, meaning a little surprised by this loud silence, please click like to show your sympathy for the unsung stories on the battlefield. Share the video so your friends understand that silence is not peace. Sometimes it's a sign of stress. And don't forget to subscribe to the History&War channel, where each video is a smart dose of both historical and thought-provoking medicine, enough to keep you on top of trends and still smart as a strategic cannon.